August 18th, and Ken Scott will be presenting, so we'll hopefully be able to make it to that one as well. And we will send out email reminders so you know the date and the topic for that one. I also wanted to do just a little reminder from Steve Carlson. We have a Peace Builder Scholarship that was developed by UCCR to raise awareness in the Utah community regarding alternative dispute resolution. And it is to award a scholarship to a Utah school teacher who's going to be using or has already started using alternative dispute resolution in their classroom and in their curriculum. Last year we had 2 teachers that were awarded a scholarship for training in dispute resolution and to get materials for use in their classroom. And so we're going to be awarding another recipient this year. So on the website you can click and we're asking for donations for the scholarship. And also you'll see an application where you can nominate if you have a particular school teacher that might be interested in such a scholarship for their classroom. So that's all on the UCCR website. So that's all I have on the Peace Builder Scholarship. Today, we are happy to welcome Chris Wilson, who's going to be presenting on emotional intelligence in our practice and why the mediator matters. Chris has been coaching and teaching conflict resolution and communication and also on emotional intelligence since 2008. She has her master's in criminal justice, and she also has a postgraduate certificate in conflict resolution. She's currently a Ph.D. candidate at my alma mater, so that's exciting. She's getting her Ph.D. in conflict resolution studies. She's worked with inmates and also for the juvenile courts and on the victim offender and truancy mediation program. So this should be a great presentation, and let's welcome Chris.
Thank you. Does everybody have 2 handouts? Are there any more handouts? Do we know? Oh, there's some on the table.
I'll go grab some more.
Okay, thank you. So my current work is, and my dissertation is, can you guys hear me? Because I really don't want to mic it up. Can you hear me back there? Keep that body yes going. Yeah. My current work is with inmates, and my dissertation is on the course I created for inmates on conflict resolution using emotional intelligence and a bunch of other stuff. Who thinks that they might benefit from that? Who thinks we might benefit from that? Right? Okay. So why we matter? You know, we go to all sorts of classes, courses, read books on what to do, how to work with our clients and stuff. How much of it would you say, on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being very, very little, 10 being a lot, do we focus on ourselves? Give me a number. 3. Any other numbers?
8.
Okay, good. I like that 8. Any other numbers? Okay, so we have between 3 and 8. Well, today's going to be a 10. Okay. All right, so we're going to start with Ellen Waldman. I really like this article, Mindfulness, Emotions, and Ethics, the Right Step. And she put in the question mark. Love that. Okay. Ellen says that in the mediation world, scholars and practitioners frequently treat emotions as the unreleased child of the problem-solving mind. Okay? She says leading mediation theorists present emotions as a force to be blunted, manipulated, or leveraged in the service of getting to yes. Anybody agree or disagree? Thoughts? Thinking?
Leanne disagrees.
Okay, good. I love that. That means you might be digging in there and finding out about those emotions, right? Okay. Anybody else have any thoughts? Sir?
I was always taught that you need to understand the why behind the emotion and work with it. I mean, use it as part of the solution, not the problem.
Yeah, right? So that means we're digging in there and we're really finding out what the emotions are, right?
Yeah.
Which apparently a lot of theorists or maybe practitioners don't do. So let's go on. Let's see what other people have to say. Has anyone read Kenneth Cloak's Mediating Dangerously? Oh, yeah. I see this tiny little hand back there, Stacy. Anybody other than Stacy? Oh, good, you guys. This, you can tell my books are pretty marked up. But Mediating Dangerously, Dr. Cloak came and spoke at my school for one of our residential institutes, and he was amazing. Do you know that time when you're in the presence of someone and you just know? That is if you've ever been with Dr. Cloak. So in his book, he says, Tolstoy wrote that everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself, or we can say herself. Many mediators are drawn to conflict resolution because of its potential to change the other person, right? Which is good. But they fail to perceive that unless they change themselves, the very help they offer may limit or confine the people they're trying to support. What's he saying?
Well, you gotta do the work on yourself too. It's not just about let's get you.
Right?
You know, they mirror us, we mirror them. It's about constant change and growth.
Yeah. I will be honest, my mentor is here, Bart McKay, and he taught me some really good methodologies and techniques to work with that, I use now and will always use. But I have to tell you, if I can be honest with you, can I be honest with you? Good. Love it. That when I started mediation training, I had no intention of working on myself. Is that weird? Is that normal? Okay, so I really was just going to go to learn kind of how to get people to do what I wanted them to do. I'm sorry, I'm telling the truth. And that was in 06? I don't know, 06. And that began a journey that I am still on, and that no money can buy, no one can really explain it, but it's been the best, most amazing journey of my life. Dr. Cloak has helped me along the way. So this might mean that we're acknowledging the place in us that connects where they're at, including places of confusion, anger, and frustration. Right? We see that in that. We hear it if we're doing pre-meetings. We hear it if we're talking to them on the phone, and all the time. Otherwise, they wouldn't need our services, right? They don't call us when we're happy. Hey, want to hang out and mediate? No? Okay. So why could this be intimidating? These places of confusion, anger, and frustration. Why? My day. No. I like it quiet room. Go ahead.
Well, there's the highs and the lows. And sometimes when they're either a really low place, it can be really intimidating, or if they're experiencing really high anger or something like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't want to touch that because
Yeah.
it can escalate and get really ugly.
Yeah, right? Yes, there are limits. Okay.
I think
Sorry, sir.
sometimes I'm afraid to acknowledge the emotion they're feeling. At least initially when I first started mediation, I didn't want to lose neutrality. I didn't want to connect with them on an emotional level because I didn't want to side with them. Or, worse, turn against them.
Who's opening up this can of worms back there? What? That neutrality piece, right? What are you doing? Resume slideshow. How about? Okay, maybe it's because emotions are catchy. Maybe? We connect with others through our emotions. Boom! That's it. We connect with others through our emotions. So suppressing emotions makes us more disconnected, okay? But maybe, aside from that point, maybe it's the top point, that we connect with others through our emotions. So how are we to maintain that neutrality, that emotional regulation when things are falling apart around us? Okay, so how do we help parties in mediation work through strong emotions? By allowing uncomfortable emotions to be expressed, right? Hopefully, we give them that space by soothing, consoling, and acknowledging the pain. So I love acknowledgement. Acknowledgement does not mean agreement. We all know that, right? We can acknowledge without agreeing. Validating, listening, and verbalizing the loss, and normalizing anger, grief, and fear for our client. But the question becomes, wait for it, how comfortable are you with dealing with strong emotions? Anybody have any thoughts on that? Carol?
I just wanted to respond to this comment about using neutrality, because I think that's a really valid point. And you quoted Kenneth Cloak, and he doesn't use the term impartial, he uses the term omnipartial.
Yep, he does.
That you are partial to everybody equally. And I think that's what you have to be. The hard part comes is that generally it is easier probably to connect with one of the parties rather than the other.
Yeah.
Often that's the case. And I think when you can equally connect with the one that's harder, that's when you can really be effective.
And Michelle Hodge used to say multi-partial, as if I'm recalling that correctly. Okay, so the question up on the board, how comfortable are you in dealing with strong emotions? So another article, because I said I was going to use some research here, Emotional Intelligence and Mediation Training by Lori Schreier. What they did was they polled 175 mediation training orgs, asked about training mediators to deal with emotions, specifically self-awareness and self-regulation. Okay? And what she says is that mediators with high EI, or emotional intelligence, tend to get desirable responses from others, bring disagreements into the open, help de-escalate them, and encourage discussion. So this goes with that slide that said that emotions are catchy. So think about it, and we're going to do a little bit of this today. But when we're in a room with someone who has lost it, how does it make you feel?
Challenge.
Challenged. Ooh, I like that word. What else?
Anxious.
Anxious. I get scared. Yeah, okay. So the conclusion of her study is that knowledge and experience on conflict and emotion is being shared, but most mediation training doesn't sufficiently teach how to be with, work with strong emotions in mediation. So there's a great need for support in our development of emotional self-awareness and self-regulation. Okay? We do not have time to do this today. When I teach emotional intelligence, I just did a training for the Forest Service, and I only touched on, I actually did conflict and listening in one class, I did self-awareness in one class, and these are all 2-hour classes. I did emotional regulation and assertiveness. Gosh, that assertiveness, you guys, has anybody been through assertiveness training? Changes lives, I'm telling you. But anyways, those, you know, it could be, I did it in 4 2-hour classes, but it could be 10 to 20 hours to do it well, okay? So some teaching techniques for focusing on EI, experiential approaches, fishbowl. So I know we've, you know, the UCCR has done some of those in the past. Analytical and conceptual approaches or lectures, so congratulations for coming. And then here we go, we're getting into the stuff here. The self-reflective approach, these are self-reflective processes and exercises, body awareness, yoga, ujjayi breathing. Gotta be honest, haven't done the ujjayi breathing yet, but that's what they recommend. Guided meditation and mindfulness. And so I started doing guided meditation. I create my own for me, and it was so relaxing that one day, probably about 1.5 years ago, I just thought, I'm going to throw this in and take it to right? Kind of crazy. I'm going to get a bunch of striped men in jail to breathe, relax, and focus. And what do you guys think happened? Any other thoughts? You're right, they loved it, right there. And here's why, which I didn't really think through, you guys. They loved it because my environment, I can just go into my bedroom, lay down, and do a meditation if I want. They have 24/7 lights, 24/7 noise, 24/7 disruptions. It's 5 minutes in their day where they can, okay? So those are some ideas. We're gonna hit some of those. So Schreier ends by stating that changing others requires changing ourselves first. And this is something we hesitate to do, right? I don't have time, I don't need it, I don't know, what are the other excuses? Don't have time, don't need it, not valuable. Can you think of any?
I'm above that.
Yes, so me too. I am above that. What else?
Too hard.
Too hard, right? Where do I start? What about where do I start? That's a really good one. Okay. So we're starting to see this recurring theme now. We're starting to see this recurring theme of that we are the ones we need to focus on for a minute. Why? Why? We have to do everything. Why? Because we share energy with our clients. We know this, right? Okay. Being genuine because of our true self will show through. If we are uptight, strung out, we're nervous with strong emotional displays, they're going to get it, you guys. They're going to see it in our body language. I hate to use the word, but I had to use the word leakage. Because that's what they say in body language. Like no matter how good you are at controlling yourself, there's body language leakage in the way you tilt your heads, you know, all these things. Okay. Micro expressions, which I can pick up, but I'm not trained in. Verbal expressions, our tone, our word, and our pitch, right? And by the way, let me tell you, let me stop here for a second. So for me, I have to be super focused and super relaxed when I go to jail. I go to jail 3 times a week right now. I teach 4 different classes. And my dog, my grandkids, my husband, and inmates pick up on what's going on here more than anyone I know. And that's just because I don't know on a horse. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if I'm not settled, I'm telling you, they'll walk in the classroom within 2 minutes. They'll say, what's wrong? So, okay, there's some centering going on. Okay, everybody close your eyes. Close your eyes. Okay. So, think of the most chaos-inflicted, restless, unharmonious person you know. Got it? Pretend they just walked into the room and waved you over because they have something they need to talk to you about. And take a minute to examine your body. Tell me, think about what you're feeling. Is there any feeling in your chest, your neck, your back, your head? Maybe your legs. Open your eyes. What'd you feel?
Tension.
In my shoulder.
Good, in your shoulders,
Throughout the whole body.
throughout. She's coming! Okay. I'm sorry, but I love that.
What did she say?
She said her throat closed, right? My words are gone. Anybody else? Anything else?
My jaw.
Yeah, right?
My heart rate.
Yes. Oh.
Catching my breath.
Hi, Sherry. So good to see you. Right, you guys? Oh. So because I'm a kind person, I don't want to leave you like this. Close your eyes. Okay. Think of the most peaceful, loving, harmonious person you know. Okay? We're going to do the same thing. Pretend they just walked into the room and waved you over because they have something they need to talk to you about. Notice how your body feels. Okay, open your eyes.
I'm smiling.
Yay!
Relax.
Who said relax? What else?
I kind of felt my posture change a little bit. My chest was out a little more like, hey, this is somebody I'm going to give a big hug to. And,
Yeah. Right? Anything else, you guys? Were there any headaches in the first one and they kind of dissipated in the second? So I have good news for you. That unharmonious person is not here, but think about the energy sharing, right? And we're not done with that, by the way. So in quantum physics, they talk about the law of entanglement, and it states that relationships are the defining characteristics of everything in space and time. Everything and everyone is linked. We're all part of a system, and we all affect each other, right? I don't have this in my dissertation, but I do have restorative justice, and we see that on the list. Other theories that talk about this are chaos theory, social construction theory. Does anybody know social construction theory? My favorite ever, it's in my dissertation. We create our reality through our words and our relationships. Love that. The butterfly effect, restorative justice, and Bell's theorem of non-locality. Like I know what that is, right? That one I don't even know what it is. Okay, so we're going to talk about synergy for a minute. And that is that the whole can't exist without the interaction of its parts. So we're going to use the body as an example of a system for a minute, if that's all right with you guys. So name some things that we do to get or stay healthy.
Exercise.
Do what?
Exercise.
That's right. What else?
Eat right.
Eat right, yes. What else?
Sleep.
Sleep. You guys named all of my top 3, but what else do we do?
Hydrate.
Yes, hydrate's so good, right? Anything else? Those are pretty good. Those are pretty much what I go with. Sleep, diet, and exercise. And now entropy is that natural disorganization and decay that eventually kills the body, kind of breaks the body down, right? So we know that parts of the system don't operate in isolation, right? It takes the system to keep the whole organization, or it takes every part to keep the system going. Let's say that, right? And we continually affect each other, although our Western society says, no, we're individuals. We don't affect each other, okay? So I want to demonstrate for you how a small change can affect a whole system, but I need a volunteer who can eat a packet of sugar. I know I'm going to get one. Come on, I always do. Come on up. So, tell me your name.
Henry.
Henry, I'm Chris. Nice to meet you. Oh, you're strong. Yay, he's strong. I love it. Okay. So, Henry, your feet are good. Henry's going to ground his feet, right? So you feel strong. You feel that earth coming up to you. And, oh, okay.
Pretty much. All right.
Okay, yes. Okay, he feels it. And then what I want you to do is I want you to take your strongest arm, and I want you to hold it out straight. Okay, so Henry, you're not going to let me move it at all. Okay?
Right.
Yeah, tell me when you're ready. Okay. Okay, Henry's strong. That's all I have to say about that.
Now it's the sugar part.
Now, the sugar part of it. Keep thinking about it, because I need one more volunteer, actually. Somebody.
Hold on, I took one off.
That's gone!
Do I have to eat a pack of sugar?
You do.
I don't want to eat a pack of sugar. That's that whole health issue.
Thank you, sir. And just wait, hang on one second, hang on one second. Go ahead. No, do it. I know, right? Hey, it's supposed to be your lunch. We're on to have lunch, right? Okay. Ground your feet. Give me your strong start. Go. Do you feel a difference?
Stuck up on me.
Sorry. Okay. So tell me your name. Thank you, Henry. Everybody give Henry a hand. Tell me your name.
Reese.
Reese, come on up. And Reese needs a friend. But this friend does not have to eat the sugar. Yeah, are you strong? Oh my gosh, I was going to say, are you strong? And I saw your arms go up here. Are you? Okay. Okay.
Reese, I'm Catherine.
Hi, Catherine. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Chris.
Nice to meet you too. But I kind of need you here. Kind of need you and facing me. Yeah. Okay. A little bit. And I want you to ground your feet. You're going to do the same thing that Henry did, okay? You ready? You have beautiful green eyes. Tell me when you're ready. Okay. She is a strong one.
You can tell I ate plenty of sugar,
Let's
so
wait and see. We don't know. We don't know yet.
package get wet, that's kind of
Thank you so much for volunteering. You guys are awesome. Okay, all I want you to do, Reese, is put your hand on her shoulder. Give me your arm when you're ready. She's gonna punch me. Oh, man. Okay, thank you. So I do this to demonstrate every single body has a weakened response to sugar, okay? To white sugar. It changes our blood chemistry, affects our homeostasis, and it promotes that entropy, right? So by exposing just Henry and Reese's digestive tract, we affected their whole system. And not only that, then we saw how it also, with Reese and Catherine, right? That it affected her system as well. So this is one example of energy transference. So what about other weakening agents or poisons such as apathy, hostility, hate, prejudice, blocking behaviors? I don't have passive-aggressive behaviors up there, but I should, right? And sabotage, right? And so we need to consider our impact, whether it's intentional or unintentional. So at this point, because I do this with the inmates, and they all say the same thing every class, they're like, that's voodoo. It's not voodoo. It's sugar. But, you know, sometimes they have a hard thing going on there. They might come to class, they might feel agitated, and they might not be afraid to share that with their neighbor or even the class. And so this is a good demonstration to show them how that is catchy. Remember that slide back? Emotions are catchy. So that's what we're talking about here. So I call it the convection connection. And it demonstrates how we share energy, how a common lack of awareness, how we have a common lack of awareness of this problem. We need to be self-aware. We need to be self-aware and the importance of emotional regulation. Okay? So emotional intelligence, super quick, is the capacity to recognize our own feelings, recognize the feelings of others, to motivate ourselves and manage emotions well in ourselves and in our relationships. So here's what I say. Like, just that little part right there could be a lifetime. Yeah? Right? It is a process. It is a process. So the first step is self-awareness. If you're studying EI, if you're taking any courses, if you're practicing, any good trainer is going to have you start with self-awareness, which goes back to where we started here, right? What is going on in me? So self-awareness is what am I feeling and why am I feeling it? Okay? And sometimes if we're in mediation and parties are super contentious, we can even take a step back and say, you know, we're watching this and it's affecting us, and we can answer this question, really helps us to clarify what is going on in us. You guys, often we can say what we're feeling. Sometimes we can't define the why. The why is important, okay? All right, so I have a bunch of ideas, because I teach this a lot, but we don't have time, so we're going to do 2 ideas to enhance emotional intelligence that we're going to talk about today. The first is mindfulness, and then the second is metacognition, which, okay, so I have at least 6 hours of training that I do with the inmates on, 3 hours of training that I do just on metacognition. Just getting them to think about their thoughts. This is so important. We don't have time to do that today, but I want to introduce it to you because I kind of want you guys to leave here and go, yeah, I might want to try one thing. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so someone read this to me.
I love Harrison's green.
Okay, thank you, Catherine. You're such a good volunteer. Can someone else read it?
I love Paris in the spring.
I love Paris and us.
Thank you. Yes, right? Check it.
Good job.
To thus. But our mind is often a step ahead of us, right? And if we haven't seen this slide before, we're just going to say what makes logical sense. I love Paris in the spring. And I wouldn't know, I haven't been. But, so Riskin, in his article, Mindfulness, the Foundation Training for Dispute Resolution, says that mindlessness impairs our productivity, makes us unavailable for the time being, diminishes our ability to gather information, listen, and understand. And some signs of mindlessness, what did you do after lunch yesterday? Do you guys remember? Okay, let's go to the next one. Do you remember the first thing you read or wrote today? Okay. So some tasks are okay to do mindlessly, right? So there's procedural and there's declarative. Procedural, we're tying our shoe, we're buttoning our buttons. I can do a procedural task and, kind of multitask with that. With declarative, it's not recommended. Okay, so declarative are thinking tasks, are talking tasks, and although we often do multitask with that, research coming out now by neuroscientists is telling us that multitasking is a myth. Has anyone heard that yet? Thank you. And what they're saying is, does anybody want to share what they've heard about it before I share? Go.
So what I saw was in a training that we're doing for millennials and how they think they can multitask with their phones. And
Yeah.
so we would have them do a little exercise where they'd write 1, 2, 3, and then ABC. And they'd have to do 1 and then A and then 2 and then B, and how long that took them, and then get them to go back and do 1 through 10, A through M or whatever, and how much faster that was.
Yeah. So what they're saying with the multitasking is that it takes our mind 7 seconds, it lags, between the task we just went to and the one we just left. So basically, you're losing 7 seconds every time you think you're multitasking. Whereas if you stay on a task, you don't have that lag, and you don't get the confusion. Okay. So mindfulness, Riskin says, means being aware, moment to moment, of your bodily sensations, thoughts, emotions, and consciousness. So living in the now instead of the past or the future. And Waldman, going back to the Right Stuff article, she says that unconscious responses influence our decision-making in the easy ethical case, in which the course is clear, but we're tempted to take shortcuts. But what about the ethically hard case? Navigating the complex ethical case requires a calm and quiet mind, and that mindful practices can help cultivate that quality. So the more intense it is, they're saying that mindfulness can help. I know it's helped me. I'm sure you guys have heard a lot about mindfulness. You can go onto YouTube, You can create your own, you can find one you've already done. And when I first tried to sit down and settle in mindfulness, what? I'm writing, you know, I got a dissertation to write. I got, so 1 minute, I can settle for 1 minute, and then 2 minutes, then 3 minutes, then 4 minutes. I'll be honest, I have an 8-minute meditation, but I think I fall asleep quite a bit. So at least I am relaxing, right? At least I'm relaxing. But what they're talking about now is the ethics we bring to mediation and our presence. That's not a discussion we can have today, but it's a good introduction to what we bring, okay? So here's some questions to ask ourselves. What kind of energy have I been creating lately? Is it crazy? Is it mixed up? Is it calm? What is it? What kind of thoughts and emotions am I engaging in now? Gotta go, gotta climb, ooh, 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 right? Do I tend to acknowledge the value of my present activities or see them as a burden? Dishes, right? Paperwork. Ugh. What kind of conclusions can I make in order to see things differently and change my attitude and emotions now? Decide to give yourself the present. We don't do this. We're super busy, right? We've got money to make. We've got things to do. We've got papers to write. We have whatever. But what I've learned is the faster I go, the more mistakes I make, and I end up going back, slowing down, doing what I can. It's not easy. I want to get on with this thing, right? Okay, so that was a little bit about mindfulness. Now we're going to talk about thinking about your thoughts. So, are your thoughts generally negative or positive? You guys have a handout. And if you could take, tell me how much time we have, Erin?
About 20 minutes.
Oh, great. Perfect. You guys, if you could take 5 minutes and identify 3 positive thoughts you typically have and 3 negative thoughts you typically have, that would be great.
Are there any more handouts?
There might be on the table. I can check.
Oh, here's some. Do you have extra?
Almost done? 3 negative and 3 positive or more? No, you couldn't? Okay.
Not for me.
Yay, I love this group. Tell me if anybody feels comfortable. If not, I'll share all sorts of my stuff. But tell me some negative thoughts you identified. Sir?
Perfectionist.
Right? Who knew that was negative? Did you know that? Right? I mean, who?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, perfectionist. What else?
Fixer.
Fixer. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so that's another thing. Love the inmates. There are lots, and particularly the men in jail are fixers. I'm like, that has got to be some struggles, internal struggles, right? Being in there, having those struggles. So I really feel for them. Any other negative thoughts? Tell me someone who, if someone feels comfortable sharing in this tiny little intimate group, one that surprised them, that they identified.
The fixer,
Okay,
that surprised me, that was
okay, yep,
perfection.
yeah, yeah. Anybody else identify one that they were surprised about? So the last time I did this, I think it was 2 months ago in jail, it was in the men's class and the guys were filling it out and I looked down, right? I don't need to do this. I don't need to do this. I did this a while ago. But you guys, I looked down and I saw that deprivation one and that popped out at me. And I had an epiphany right then and there, coming from my childhood, coming from, being raised poor and with lots of kids and stuff. That deprivation popped out at me now. So we don't have time to get into this. I'm just saying this for the sake of good self-awareness. At that time, and I'm sitting there, like the guys are filling it out, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? And it made me realize that is why I do some of the things I do. For me, so we're talking about right now cognitive restructuring, which we're not going to get into, but it's a process where some of the thoughts we have, do they even make sense anymore? And for me, I got to tell you, deprivation mindset doesn't make sense for me right now in my life. Did it when I was 5? Yes. Yes. But you guys see how I brought that up with me? Just letting you know. Okay, let's go to the fun stuff. What about the positive thoughts? Tell me about your positive thoughts. Yes! Oh, that is my favorite.
I was going to say gratitude, and the other day I was just feeling really negative and pissed off. I actually stopped working, and it's, what am I frustrated with, what am I pissed off about? And then immediately I went to what am I grateful for, and it just totally shifted.
Yes,
But I was
yes.
feeling the normal.
So Barb just brought up a great point about how gratitude will shift, reframe our day, and you guys, there is research now. Of course, I didn't bring it, but it's something I work very hard in my classes and with the inmates, is to have that gratitude. And the research now, in fact, one of the articles that comes to mind is called Count Your Blessings. There's more to it than that, but anyways, the research now is really compelling on, people who every day spend 5 minutes either in the morning or at night writing down 3 things they're grateful for. And maybe one of those things that they're particularly grateful for. So if you're struggling, and I did this in 11, I'm not going to get into the story, 2011, in a horrible time, and so it was either buck up or break down. Anybody been there? So I sat down and I wrote, and it was like I didn't think anything else could go wrong. I sat down and I wrote everything I was thankful for. I was determined to get 10 things written down. I got 21, changed my attitude, made me leave my office, my home office, and go out and do what I need to do, right? And that was before I read the research on gratitude. Then I started researching it, and then I incorporated it into my course. What other positive thoughts that you have? Was anyone surprised by a positive thought? Do you, oh, go ahead.
Reality check.
Okay.
I do that, I think, with myself and probably more often with other people.
Oh, okay, all right. Reality check really was what we're talking about too with the emotional self-awareness. What am I feeling and why? That's a really good reality check, right? Because sometimes you guys, our feelings, they have no basis. Where are we going with that? So you guys in general think you would have more negative or positive? Or is this helpful to you to see how your thoughts are? To see what some of your thoughts are? Yes, no, maybe. Okay, I'll let you think about that. Okay, and then you guys, of course, because I'm a teacher, this is for homework. Okay, so this sheet, investigating and letting go of negative thoughts. They say that two kind of overriding thoughts really are pervasive right now, and that's judgment and worry. Can you guys think of another? Judgment and worry are pretty much sums it up, right? But we don't just judge other people, we judge ourselves. So this worksheet is for you. You can read through it and identify whether or not you feel you need to work more on judgment or worry, or you might be even. And then there's a little exercise that you can do for like 6 days at the bottom where you use a method to overcome that judgment or worry. And it could be in meditation, it could be positive affirmation. I don't believe that about myself. I'm awesome, I can do this, right? So positive affirmation, 3 deep breaths. You guys, if you're out of energy, I really encourage you to sit up straight. Our posture's so bad now, right? I've become my mother. But sit up straight and take 3 deep breaths, and I'm telling you, the energy will come back. And then, what's the 4th one, Bart? Gratitude. Magic. Okay, so that's for you if you feel like doing it, all right? And then realize, please, that our words are going to follow our thoughts. Sometimes something comes out of our mouth, we're like, where did that come from? Right there. Okay, so here's one thing I thought might be useful for you. Use what works for you. Think of words that bring you peace and calm. What are they? What are some words that bring you peace and calm? It's going to be okay. We can do this. We'll figure it out. Try incorporating them into your mediation practice. This will benefit you because you're hearing yourself and believing yourself when you say that, and it will benefit them because they're going to believe you because you're genuine, because you believe these words. Does that make sense? Talking fast, all right. And then I wrote at the bottom, our 5 senses are hearing the words and they are affected by those words. And then, of course, that energy transference, you guys saw that, okay? So just a recap, emotions are largely ignored or side-skirted in mediation. The emotional demeanor of the mediator matters, right? And this is, of course, aside from centering ourselves is important before we go into mediation, of course. That Bart talked about, I remember that. Our energy is shared. There are several techniques for EI, emotional intelligence. There's those experiential ones, analytical and conceptual ones, and then those self-reflective approaches, the processes, the body awareness, the mindfulness, and the metacognition. And you guys, I brought some resources that I have used to death. Daniel Goleman's 2 books. And the other and of course, Dr. Cloak. But emotional intelligence and emotional intelligence in the workplace. Personally, I think the one in the workplace is easier and more structured. And also, I couldn't bring the other one that I love because it's on my Kindle. But it's The Other Kind of Smart by Harvey Duschendorf. And it really is for organizations, but oh, I love that book. So that is it. Do you guys have any questions?
Thank you,
so
Chris.
much.
This is the other book recommendation. Another book I think we should speak of result of this is